Close those doors right now. Turn off every recording device in this room. That was Prince William's freezing order inside St. James's Palace just 5 minutes ago, seconds before executing the most ruthless banishment in modern royal history. You thought I wouldn't find out, Camilla? William barked, slamming a blood-red classified folder onto the table. You put Catherine's name down as observer? You wrote my children into your political blueprint. The secret palace dossier didn't just leak. It exploded. Inside lay an unauthorized 40-page strategy drafted by Camilla's private office to quietly hijack William's future reign, rewrite succession protocols, and strip Princess Catherine of her royal authority. Camilla cried out that it was a clerical error, but when Princess pulled up the digital biometric logs, the ultimate betrayal was exposed. The file was authored using Camilla's personal encryption key. You didn't write this to protect the crown, Camilla, William spat, stepping forward. You wrote this to control it. You're out. William didn't just kick her out. He gave King Charles a 24-hour ultimatum that has pushed the monarchy to total collapse. Wait until you hear the 8 terrifying words William whispered right before walking out. To understand why St. James's Palace turned into an absolute war zone, you have to realize that this explosive breakdown was not a sudden, random fight over a few pages of paper. This was the inevitable, brutal explosion of a decades-long power struggle, a dark, simmering war of hatred, jealousy, and survival that has been silently poisoning the royal bloodline ever since Princess Diana's tragic death. For years, the royal communications team painted a glossy, fairy tale lie for the global public. They told us the family was united. They told us Prince William had forgiven the woman who broke his mother's heart. But behind the heavy mahogany doors of Clarence House, the reality was a living nightmare. The bitter feud between Prince William and Queen Camilla goes back to the absolute darkest chapters of royal history. William never forgot the tears his mother shed. He never forgot the agonizing pain Diana endured while Camilla operated in the shadows of Charles's life. When Diana was taken from the world in 1997, a young Prince William made a quiet, sacred vow to himself. No one would ever erase his mother's legacy, and no one would ever endanger the future of his own family. For decades, a fragile, icy peace treaty held the family together. But everything shattered the moment King Charles III ascended the throne. With Charles battling severe health challenges and forced to step back from demanding public duties, a massive administrative power vacuum ripped through Buckingham Palace. Prince William, stepping up as a direct heir and the true heavy hitter of the monarchy, took on an unprecedented load of state responsibilities. Beside him stood Princess Catherine, beloved by millions across the globe, fiercely intelligent, and the undisputed emotional center of the British monarchy. As William and Catherine's popularity skyrocketed, Queen Camilla's private office began to panic. High-level palace whistleblowers revealed that Camilla viewed Catherine's overwhelming global love not as a triumph or crown, but as a direct, existential threat to her own fragile legacy. Camilla's team realized that once Charles's reign comes to an end, her political relevance inside the royal ecosystem drops to absolute zero. A senior palace insider leaked under complete anonymity. She knew that William would never give her a seat at his table. So, her private secretariat began building a shadow fortress to lock in her power before it was too late. Over the last 18 months, the subtle sabotage turned into outright warfare. Strategic briefing papers meant for Prince William's desk started mysteriously vanishing. Key schedule announcements for Princess Catherine were repeatedly leaked to press outlets early, intentionally undermining her major charity launches. Palace staff described working in an environment of total paranoia, where walking down the corridors of Clarence House felt like walking through a minefield. Catherine, possessing incredible grace but an iron spine, repeatedly warned William that something sinister was brewing behind closed doors. She noticed that during high-level administrative meetings, Camilla's advisors were constantly pushing to expand their authority over future ceremonial planning, royal appointments, and most disturbingly, the public schedules of Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. William, they are watching our every move, Catherine warned her husband inside the private quarters of Adelaide Cottage. This isn't about supporting your father anymore. Camilla's office is trying to set up a parallel governance structure. If we don't draw a line right now, our children will be forced to answer to her advisors long after your father is gone. William's blood ran cold. The protective instinct of a father and the fierce discipline of a future king instantly took over. He realized that the woman who had spent decades quietly maneuvering her way into the heart of the monarchy was now making a desperate, final bid to control its future. The stage was set. The hatred had reached a boiling point. The air inside the palace was thick with tension, suspicion, and impending doom. William ordered a complete dark budget audit of every single document generated by Camilla's private office over the past 2 years. He was hunting for the proof. He knew that somewhere in the archives lay the smoking gun that would expose the shadow network once and for all. And late Tuesday evening, when a nervous palace clerk handed William a thick, restrictive file that was never supposed to see the light of day, the trap snapped shut. The clock struck 11:15 p.m. inside the subterranean records room of St. James's Palace. The air was thick with the scent of old parchment, heavy oak, and impending destruction. Prince William stood beneath the harsh fluorescent lights, his jacket off, his sleeves rolled up, his eyes bloodshot from hours of reviewing classified administrative files. Beside him, Princess Catherine paced quietly across the stone floor, her arms crossed tightly, her face set in an expression of sheer determination. A nervous, low-level records officer stepped into the room, his hands visibly shaking as he placed a heavy, leather-bound binder onto the table. It was double-sealed with dark red wax and stamped with a restricted security classification code. Alpha 7 Transition. Your Royal Highness, the clerk whispered, his voice trembling so violently he could barely articulate the words. This file was logged under Clarence House Administrative Archives. It was never scheduled for distribution to Kensington Palace. William didn't wait. He grabbed a silver letter opener, broke the wax seal with one sharp, furious motion, and flipped the folder open. What lay inside was not a standard briefing paper. It was a 40-page, highly detailed strategic blueprint titled Operational Continuity and Sovereign Household Access Post-Transition. As William and Catherine read through the single-spaced paragraphs line by line, the blood drained completely from their faces. The secret dossier laid out an unauthorized, covert framework designed to grant Queen Camilla permanent, legally binding administrative control over Prince William's future household. It mandated that Camilla's private office retain veto power over key royal staff appointments, state ceremonies, and international diplomatic tours even after King Charles's reign ended. Worse still, Clause 19C explicitly proposed that Queen Camilla's advisors maintain direct oversight regarding the public appearances, security protocols, and educational arrangements for Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Catherine gasped, clutching the edge of the wooden desk as her eyes locked onto a highlighted footnote near the bottom of page 31. William, look at this, Catherine said, her voice dropping into a deadly, terrifying whisper. They didn't just write us out of the future. They classified me as an observer. They literally wrote that the Princess of Wales shall hold no voting authority in family strategy councils. William's jaw clenched so hard a muscle twitched in his cheek. White-hot fury surged through his veins. He didn't yell. He didn't smash the furniture. He slammed the leather folder shut with a thunderous crack that echoed through the quiet corridors like a gunshot. Get Princess Anne, William commanded, his voice freezing the air in the room. And tell Camilla she has 5 minutes to get to the private study. Alone. 10 minutes later, the iron door of the private study slammed shut. The room was suffocatingly tense. Princess Anne sat silently at the end of the long conference table, her handwritten leather journal open, her eyes sharp as a hawk. Catherine stood directly beside William, her presence calm, dignified, and impenetrable. Queen Camilla walked in, wearing a dark silk gown, trying to project her usual poise, but her eyes flicked nervously toward the blood-red folder resting in the center of the table. William, Charles is asleep, Camilla began, her tone carrying a fake, patronizing warmth. What on earth is so urgent that it couldn't wait until morning briefing? William didn't answer with words. He grabbed the 40-page dossier and threw it across the polished mahogany table, where it slid and stopped inches from Camilla's hands. Explain this, William barked, his voice laced with pure venom. Explain why your office is writing policy for my children. Explain why my wife is listed as an observer in my own future kingdom. Camilla's expression froze. She looked down at the exposed pages, her hands instinctively tightening around her pearl necklace. This is an administrative draft, Camilla stammered, her voice suddenly high and strained as she attempted to regain control. It's routine transition planning. My team was simply trying to ensure institutional stability, so the monarchy doesn't fragment when Charles scales back his work. Do not lie to me, William roared, stepping forward and slamming his hand onto the table. You were building a shadow network inside my home. You tried to steal the authority of the Prince of Wales. Camilla snapped back, her eyes flashing with anger. I have served this crown faithfully, she shouted back. I have earned my place at that table, William. You cannot talk to me like I am a clerk. You didn't earn anything, Catherine interjected calmly, her voice cutting through the room like a razor blade. You overstepped, and it ends tonight. Camilla scoffed, turning toward Princess and talked to him. This was a general proposal discussed months ago. William agreed to these terms during the preliminary budget meeting. Princess didn't hesitate. She slowly lifted her handwritten notebook, turned to a page dated 6 months prior, and read her exact notes aloud. No vote was taken, and stated coldly, William explicitly rejected your office's involvement in his household. Your team fabricated his consent. Cornered and desperate, Camilla tried her final defense. I didn't author the sentence. My private secretary must have drafted it without my final review. It's an administrative mistake. Then came the first catastrophic, jaw-dropping twist that turned the fight into a complete murder scene. Princess picked up a second piece of paper, a digital forensic audit delivered by Palace IT Security just moments prior. The document history was tracked. Camilla, Princess revealed, her voice dripping with absolute disdain. The master file was created at 2:14 a.m. last Thursday from the terminal inside your private Clarence house sitting room. It was uploaded using your personal biometric security encryption key. You didn't just know about it, you wrote it. Camilla went dead pale. She stumbled back a step, her breath catching in her throat, completely exposed in front of the future king. The moment the digital biometric proof hit the table, the room didn't just go silent. It became a crime scene. Queen Camilla stood frozen, her eyes wide with sheer terror as the realization hit her. Her secret shadow operation had been completely, undeniably exposed by the future king. William didn't give her a single second to breathe. Get out of my sight, William said, his voice dropping into a terrifyingly quiet whisper that shook the room more than any shout ever could. Your clearance is revoked. Effective immediately. You do not step foot into a single whale strategy council ever again. Camilla tried to speak, her voice trembling violently. William, you can't do this. Charles will never allow you to humiliate me like this. Try me, William barked back, his eyes locked onto hers with pure steel. Because if you don't walk out that door right now, the entire world is going to read every single word of this dossier on the front page of every newspaper tomorrow morning. Camilla turned and fled the room, the sound of her heavy footsteps echoing down the marble hallway. But the nightmare was just beginning. Within less than 30 minutes, the story breached the palace walls. High-stakes leaks began flooding social media, sending shockwaves across the globe. X, formerly Twitter, instantly detonated as global trends blew up. Hashtag PalaceXPD 612.4K tweets, trending number 1 worldwide. Hashtag William takes control 480.1K tweets, trending number 2 worldwide. Hashtag Camilla kicked out 395.8K tweets, trending number 3 worldwide. Fake insider posts and celebrity reactions started spreading like wildfire across millions of feeds. At Royal Insider _leaks. Breaking. Major emergency at St. James's Palace. Prince William allegedly caught Queen Camilla's office red-handed in a covert plot targeting Princess Catherine and Prince George. Total lockdown in progress. At Piers Morgan _updates. If these leaked reports about the secret palace dossier are even 50% true, Queen Camilla standing inside the royal family is officially dead. William has drawn the ultimate line. Back inside the palace, King Charles was awakened and rushed into the private study. The king sat down, his hands visibly shaking as he read the secret dossier page by page. He looked up at his son, tears welling in his eyes, caught in an agonizing nightmare between his wife and his heir. Then came the second nuclear-level twist that turned this family drama into an absolute constitutional war. Princess Catherine picked up a locked, secondary red folder attached to the back of the dossier. "Charles, you need to read the final appendix," Catherine said softly, her voice filled with quiet sadness. King Charles broke the seal and turned to page 39, his face drained of all color. The dossier didn't just target Prince William's future household. It contained a secret legal clause, secretly drafted by top constitutional lawyers, proposing that in the event of King Charles's health declining, Queen Camilla would be granted sovereign regent authority over state affairs, completely bypassing Prince William. It wasn't an administrative error. It was an attempted palace coup hidden in plain sight inside the archives. The moment news of the secret regent clause leaked past the perimeter of St. James's Palace, the entire global media ecosystem exploded into an absolute frenzy. It was no longer just a private family dispute. It was an all-out global media war. Within hours, internet servers worldwide struggled to handle the sheer volume of traffic as millions of royal watchers, political commentators, and legal experts flooded social media to react to what was being called the scandal of the century. On X, TikTok, and YouTube, the divide was instantaneous, bitter, and fierce. Over 90% of global discourse immediately aligned behind Prince William and Princess Catherine, transforming the Prince of Wales into a legendary figure of protective leadership and strength. Viral tweets and emergency video breakdowns began generating millions of views in mere minutes. At @RoyalWatcher_global, Prince William protecting his children and Catherine from a secret palace coup is the most iconic thing I've ever seen. Camilla tried to write Catherine out as an observer. Not on William's watch. #William takes control. At DailyMonarchy_news, unbelievable. Leaked sources confirm Queen Camilla's office attempted to secure sovereign regent authority behind King Charles's back. This isn't just a scandal. This is treason against the Prince of Wales. At KateMiddleton_updates, Catherine has suffered in silence for years while building up the future of this monarchy. The fact that William stood up and stripped Camilla's access in under 5 minutes proves who the real leaders are. Major international news networks dropped their scheduled programming to launch emergency live broadcasts. Elite royal biographers and constitutional scholars clashed live on air, debating whether the crown could ever recover from such an explosive internal breach. "We are looking at an absolute constitutional nightmare," declared a veteran royal correspondent during a breaking broadcast in London. If Prince William has permanently severed Queen Camilla's access to strategic household councils, her administrative status inside Buckingham Palace is effectively dead. William has sent an unmistakable signal to the entire world. The future reign begins now, and no one, not even the Queen, will stand in his way. The public backlash against Queen Camilla reached unprecedented levels. Protesters and fans alike began gathering near the palace gates, holding signs demanding complete transparency from Clarence House. Comment sections under official royal social media accounts were completely overrun with relentless demands for Camilla's immediate retirement. The global verdict was unanimous, brutal, and crystal clear. The public was standing firmly with William and Catherine. The shadow network had been dragged out into the blinding light of day, and the world was waiting for William's next move. Just when the world thought the drama had reached its absolute climax, an even darker, far more terrifying revelation surfaced from deep inside the palace vaults. A twist so explosive threatens to bring down the entire royal establishment. At 2 a.m., inside Prince William's private office at Kensington Palace, a heavily encrypted digital file landed on his desktop. It wasn't sent from an administrative aide or a leaking staffer. It was delivered directly by top-level British intelligence liaisons who had been monitoring secure communications coming out of London. William cracked the encryption code. What he saw on the screen made his blood run completely cold. The secret dossier and the regent clause were only phase 1. Attached to the file was an intercepted, covert communications plan linking Camilla's closest private advisors to a network of international media executives. The objective? A coordinated multi-stage smear campaign designed to systematically undermine public trust in Princess Catherine and Prince William Wright. before King Charles's next major transition announcement. The document explicitly outlined strategy points to leak fake stories about internal Wales household instability, raise doubts about Catherine's long-term royal readiness, and frame William's protective actions as unstable administrative overreach. They weren't just trying to retain influence. They were actively preparing to sabotage the future king and queen from inside their own home. William stared at the screen, his chest heaving, his face set in stone. He turned to Princess Catherine and Princess Anne, who were standing right behind him in utter disbelief. "They didn't just overstep," William said, his voice dropping into a razor-sharp, chilling tone that shook everyone in the room. "They declared war on my family." Without a single moment of hesitation, William picked up the secure direct line to Buckingham Palace and issued an ultimate, non-negotiable 24-hour ultimatum directly to King Charles. "Father, you have 24 hours to issue a full, public announcement revoking Camilla's office from all administrative governance. If the palace remains silent, I will step in front of the cameras myself and expose every single page of this dossier to the entire world." The clock is officially ticking. King Charles is now facing the most agonizing, heartbreaking choice of his life: protect his wife or save his son and the future of the crown. And with less than 24 hours left on William's countdown timer, confidential sources leak that an emergency live broadcast is being prepped at Kensington Palace right now. Secrets are about to be exposed that will alter the British monarchy forever.